Waiting for Tesla stock to drop? Good luck with that. Let me show you the consequences of that. Graham's net worth is way over $10 million and he owns some Tesla stock in his stock portfolio.
I felt the price wasn't justified to continue skyrocketing indefinitely. And guess what? In the short term, right after I sold, I was right. I mean, I pretty much timed the peak perfectly because right afterwards, the stock fell badly. Over the following month, Tesla dropped about 50% as the excitement wore down, COVID began making its way through the US, and for a moment, I thought that I could see through the market. I thought I knew it all and that I was right, because at the time, I was. However, as some of you might be following along, $912 in February was pre-split, meaning today, that would be the equivalent of $162 a share. So did I actually end up buying in when it dropped 50%? No. Instead, I invested everywhere else throughout the broad market, and even though those investments did well, it paled in comparison to what Tesla has done. Soon after, when Tesla approached back to what would now be $182 a share, right where I had previously sold, I was too stubborn to admit the defeat that I was wrong. And I felt bad about buying back in at the same price that I had sold, because I'm an idiot. Of course, that meant that I patiently watched Tesla on the sidelines, seeing the remaining 50% of my portfolio just skyrocket. And once it reached what would now be $280 a share, I accepted defeat and bought back in. 50% higher, mind you, from where I sold. Now,
Graham made this video about a year ago, so the numbers are before the most recent 3-for-1 stock split. This reminds me of my days when I first bought Tesla stock in early 2019, just that I realized Tesla is going to be profitable, and then the stock dropped. I bought under $20 per share. And then the stock dropped down to almost $10 per share, the most recent split adjusted. Now, if you are going to time this, to try to time this, which I don't recommend, even the richest people are not really able to do that. If they were, there would be a lot more than about 3,000 billionaires in the world. That's just one simple way to figure that out in just a few seconds. You can't really time the market every single time. Maybe you can do it 9 times out of 10 and that one time completely wipes you out. Just like this guy. He lost basically everything. He was worth tens of billions of dollars. Now, his mistake is that he leveraged up. If he didn't use leverage, he would have been... It would have turned out a lot better, but the pitfall of trying to time a market is the extreme temptation to use leverage, to go into margin, to borrow money to buy the stock, which, if you saw my last video, I don't really recommend, except for very specific circumstances, which for most people, that's a hard no from me. So if you look right here, if you look at this lowest point right here, if you look at the box on the left side, just right here, you will see that the lowest point at this time was $208. Now, the stock currently closed at $204.99, so we already are sort of, it would appear, we're breaking below that resistance level. And the next resistance level, I would say, is around, if you see that box right here, 179. So stock could easily drop down to that level. And then if it drops below that, unless there's some, news that we get from Tesla, some good progress with earnings, perhaps good deliveries, good production, maybe some more announcements from Elon Musk, there's a good reason to believe that the stock would drop down all the way to this 120, 140-ish level. So I will share with you what I am doing. As if you watch the channel, you know I am all in Tesla in my stock portfolio. That's the only stock I own. And I personally, right now, I am dollar cost averaging. I did this throughout this whole time. And however, I do have real estate and properties, and I have not traded those into Tesla stock. I don't see enough upside with the risk that I'm taking. However, at this level, I might want to reconsider that, because when I look at PE ratio, future earnings, and future PE ratio in, let's say, 2030, what I see is if you are a long-term investor, I can't justify how to not put more money into Tesla stock, because even if they don't solve full self-driving, which I think they will, but if they do not do that, even if they don't dominate energy, and if they just sell 10 million vehicles a year by the end of 2030, I think the stock price by the end of 2030 will be very attractive, and the return will still beat S&P 500, which is what I had before I went all into Tesla stock. And of course, a lot of it right now is driven by the macro environment, and everyone anticipates increasing interest rates as well, and macro is not doing well. If you look at S&P 500, from the highest high to the lowest low, it's down about 25%. I think there's still a lot more room to go down. Nothing is guaranteed, of course. However, if that does happen, it will definitely not be good for Tesla stock. But I do believe in full self-driving. This is a Hallmark's catalog YouTube channel video, and our car is right here, and you can see people all over, and it's working nicely fine. It's pretty smooth over here. If you look at the videos, I did the reaction maybe 6, 7, 8 months ago now through a road similar like this, where there are a lot of pedestrians on the side, and it wasn't as smooth as it is right now. It still did fine, but it wasn't as smooth. So I'm not selling any Tesla stock, even if I think that the price is maybe a little bit high. Look, then full self-driving is going to come out. It's probably going to come out somewhat unexpectedly. It will sneak up on basically most of us, I believe. Because when you look at technologies before, based on AI, they all happened sooner than most people expected. It sort of sneaks up on you. It comes out from nowhere. And I believe the exact same thing is going to happen with full self-driving as well. So I'm not selling any of my Tesla stock. Now, if Tesla was now working on full self-driving, I would not have held my stock all this time. I would have exited a while ago. But with full self-driving, I see that the stock is, in my opinion, very undervalued. So I'm keeping all of it. I'm not selling any of it. And if you're trying to time the market, I wish good luck to you. I hope you don't have to buy in later at a higher price if you are selling Tesla stock later to buy it at a higher price if you're not doing anything else with that money. Now, if you, however, in my case, I'm not selling any of my Tesla stock, but also I'm not trading my properties into more Tesla stock. I'm waiting. I would wait for me to do that. I would wait for the stock to drop quite a bit lower. So it's not like I think it's such a spectacular deal short term that I will trade my properties right now into it. But I do think it's a ridiculously good deal, and I'm not touching my stock portfolio, which is basically just my Tesla stock at this point. It's interesting. See how it navigates around people? It doesn't freak out. It's smooth. Which is exactly the opposite of what you get when you hold Tesla stock. You get all of this bumpiness and all this volatility. If you can't handle it, then Tesla stock is not for you. But full self-driving will be. That's a good news. That was quite a calming drive there. So, if you are selling Tesla stock and you have another investment that you like, I have nothing against that at all. I wish the best of luck to you. But if you do want to get back into Tesla stock and you're thinking, I'm going to sell my Tesla stock to buy in later at a lower price, that is risky, because we just look back at Tesla's history and the stock can jump like 10 times in a relatively short period of time. So would you buy back in at those higher prices once you sell? it's so hard to do psychologically. So I'm not even trying to do that. Not at this time. In the future, I might reconsider, but at this time, right now, no. The way I see Tesla stock right now, you're buying, if you bought at this peak and you were paying 400, let's say, right now, you're buying one, but you get two if you bought at 400. So if you thought it was a good deal here, you definitely want to be buying around this level as well. Of course, not financial advice. If you would like to learn 48 reasons why I only own Tesla stock in my stock portfolio, there's a video right here. Click on it right now, and I will see you there. My name is Matt Hosius. Thank you for watching.